It's nearly 1:30 in the morning on Tuesday, the 18th of November 2025, and I watched a little clip that just made me snap this evening. And I made a video. I've made about 7 different videos of this over the last few weeks, and I've not released any of them, or done any of them, or edited any of them. And I think now, in the middle of the night, it's pissing me off, and I feel like a really big injustice has happened, and my country really don't know much about it. And it's really sad because it's a perfect example of what the terrible situation in the UK is right now. And I saw this little short with George Gillow. I think he's called Gillow. And yeah, George from the Big Brother house, I saw it today come out that he's been fired from his job because of anti-Semitic remarks, and because he's a racist apparently. And I was, strange enough, mentioning this in the video, how if you just put that sort of wording out and they've not released the footage of what happened, which is George has explained about what exactly he did say, people can make all sorts of heads or tails out of it, you know. So someone said something, that offensive language, when it wasn't even a language or the gesture that people consider to be offensive. So I'm resolved now. I have to do this video, even though I'm not feeling great on camera, because my country's falling to shit. And it's really sad because most people in England aren't really aware of this. It seems like most people are convinced that the government are really good and the BBC are telling them the truth, and that a lot of people are conspiracy theorists. And for Remembrance Day, a veteran, I think he's 100 years old, came and shamed everybody in England, and went on mainstream media. And finally, someone who's too old and valuable to be considered a conspiracy theorist has spoken up in England. So I might play that clip to start with, and then just play the video that I sorted the other day, and have been umming and ihhing about getting out there, because I don't know, I feel like, who am I to say this shit? Who am I to talk about this shit? And then I'm like, I'm there waffling about how dangerous it is to do this, and now what I've said is going to happen to George. Is going to happen to George. He has been fired from his job because of this exact situation that I saw coming a few days ago. And now I think, well, then I ought to say things about it. We all ought to say things about injustice. And so this is my attempt to stand up for George and Caroline of Big Brother.
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though, at this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Most of Britain is just fast asleep right now, just watching EastEnders and going to work and coming home and not really looking at anything other than what the BBC is saying. I'm not sure which one it is, but I feel like something's been missed, and it's really annoyed me. And I've been kind of on the sidelines on my Facebook profile, just sort of shouting about it and putting clips up and write-ups about it. And I was sort of waiting to see what would happen in the media, and nothing's happened. And then I thought, annoyingly, maybe that's something that I should be saying or doing. And though I've got involved a little bit, I don't feel like I've got involved in the extent I want to. But it's a confidence factor. So I thought, fuck it, I need to... It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to do it. I'm going to attempt to do a video about it and do a deep dive on what's going on in the Big Brother house in England. It's been a very strange time in England in general. It's a really weird year to be alive here. Things have happened that I never thought I'd see. I think things have happened in the world I've never thought they'd see. It's bizarre, and I'd love to do a few videos about what it's like right now from a point of view of someone living in the country. whose freedoms are being squashed as we speak. I feel that we're having a massive crisis with free speech and a gaslighting government telling the world that we have got free speech. We've got Irishmen who aren't UK citizens being arrested in England for tweets that they've said in America under the First Amendment. They are fine to say those things in that country, and it's been a really bizarre time. So yeah, I think it's something that if people have got something to say, then they need to say it. Now's the time to say it, because we are losing our country pretty quickly, and the laws of the country aren't making sense. Words aren't making sense. Definitions are becoming fuzzy and blurred, and that's dangerous. It's happened in the past, and it could be disastrous. The first controversy that happened in the House was with Caroline. A really good character. I really grew to like her. I've been watching her over the last few weeks, and I really enjoyed her character. I think she's a great person. I think she's just the sort of person you meet in the smoking shelter at the back of your pub or whatever, or your work. You know, a really good laugh, life and soul of the party. And I think this really sort of shows, this clip shows how the two worlds are colliding, with the old mentality of sticks and stones may break my bones and names will never hurt me, versus the woke mentality of, you know, words mean violence and they can have a physical impact on people, so they need to be treated in a physical way.
If you could shag anyone in this house... only we're on a desert island, there's one person left, you might be able to make babies to get a new civilization.
What the hell?
Who would you shag?
So it has to be a guy.
She's pansexual.
Is she pansexual?
I'm pansexual.
You like pans?
Maybe just ask her who she's most attracted
You
to.
like pans? Zila.
She's a girl! No, you're not.
Oh, Carolina.
But you haven't got a willy, have you?
Oh, no, let's stop this game.
Oh, is that really bad?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, what Caroline's saying is actually a protected speech. Those are things that she's allowed to say, and that she's actually, not only that she's allowed to say, they've actually got special protections. If you've got any religious beliefs, if you've got political beliefs, these are all subject to these protections, and that is one of those protections since the Four-Starter case in 2023. But basically, regardless, those are protected rights by a person. You're allowed to hold those views and to say those views. But you can see in our society, the whole room begins to cringe, curl over, they can't handle it. The woman starts to ask, is everything okay? What's happened? And she knows that she's in trouble. She knows that it's a possible cancellation. I mean, we've got the media to see people like Sharon Osbourne, she got cancelled for saying, what did he say that was racist? That was it. 7 words. What did he say that was racist? That's all she said, and she was condemned for it, and she was binned off the TV. All she did was ask a question. It shows that the mentality of the situation right now is that people that ask questions, people that have different opinions, are not accepted into the group. And you can see the whole group cringing away from her and telling this woman that she's doing something terribly wrong.
I'm so sorry.
Caroline, Big Brother does find your behaviour and language to be offensive and unacceptable. Do you understand?
I agree. I absolutely agree, yeah. I thought I was being funny and I wasn't being funny. And I don't know why those words come out of my mouth.
Big Brother will review this situation further and talk to you in the morning.
I'm such a f***ing idiot.
Caroline, Big Brother appreciates that you want to speak to Zila, but Big Brother suggests it may be better to have that chat in the morning.
But I won't speak to him tonight. No, I won't. I'm just going to go to bed and be very quiet.
So here we have another clip about the after effects of the situation, and I think it's really unfair. I think it's really horrible the way they're treating this woman. This woman's expressed something that is completely legally protected, and Big Brother does have its own rules, and it does have its own list of bullshit that you've got to accept when you walk in the door. Thing is, you can't have your laws of Big Brother going over the laws of the country. The English law states that this woman should be allowed to say what she's saying. Not only that, she's been penalised for it. No. And the sad thing is that Big Brother penalises her and actually gives her a strike, a warning for it. This is something that should be taken to court and sued for. This is a discriminatory act, and it's going on TV in front of the whole country, in front of the whole nation, on a terrible TV show that no one's probably watching, but it's a terrible thing because this is a massive injustice. And if you see an injustice in society, you're supposed to stand up and say something about it, because when you end up in a situation one day where injustice is happening to you, no one will stand up for you. If you live in a society full of spineless gits. And this is the sad thing, is that this woman's been convinced that she's done something really dreadful, and you can see in the clip she's distraught about this.
You just can't see any of it going back to normal again. I can only say sorry. I can't give you an excuse.
I don't want you to walk away from this thinking you're not allowed to get things wrong.
Another thing that I'm really disgusted with is the fact that Zila, the mentality of this person is that I am above this other person. My feelings are more important than this person. I can console this person that I can see is in having a difficult time. And really, both of them are in an equal position here. One of them has said something that's a gender critical belief, something that she obviously believes. The other one has transgender beliefs. Who wins? Basically, in this society, Zila wins.
My immediate reaction at the moment is to reach out to Caroline and un-awkward the situation. I'm taking my time because I know I probably owe it to myself to not do that and not prioritise her feelings right now, but I'm okay. Like, I'm not wallowing in sadness or anything. It's just there is something in the back of my head, like you don't necessarily see me as a man, or you don't see me the way you see the other boys, at least.
The next contestant to get in trouble is George. I really like George. He's got a really strange style. He looks like he's walked out of a 16th century painting. He's got lots of ideas and energy about him. He's one of those people in society that is a treasure and is something that we should look after and celebrate. And unfortunately, in this society, he's not considered to be anything other than a danger to the conversation, it seems. An awfully dangerous person to have on your TV screen. So dangerous, in fact, they couldn't show us the first 2 transgressions he goes through. We see George in an interview explaining what happened or what wasn't seen. But the most disturbing thing about it, I think, is that Big Brother decided to tell the viewers their perception of what has been seen or what they think has happened, what the warning was that was given to George, but not to show the in context footage. So we get the word anti-Semitic, or George has done something something to do with anti-Semitism and George. And when he comes out of the Big Brother house, and has the interview, he's explaining what actually he said that didn't get put on film because it was so bad. But the most disturbing thing about it, I think, is that Big Brother decided to tell the viewers their perception of what has been seen or what they think has happened, what the warning was that was given to George, but not to show the in context footage. So we get the word anti-Semitic, or George has done something something to do with anti-Semitism and George. And when he comes out of the Big Brother house and has the interview, he's explaining what actually he said that didn't get put on film because it was so bad.
I said, and I stand by this, nobody ever is wholly good or evil. I think people who are evil are probably misguided. People who are good, yin yang and all that, yeah, they've got some bad in their personality. I agree. So that was the fundamental point. And for right or for wrong, I used the most extreme example. I said, who's the most evil person ever to exist? If you ask Joe Public, who's the most evil person? Hitler, most people would say. And there's a case for that. But I said, Hitler probably wasn't sitting there, funding the Holocaust and going, oh, I'm so evil. He was probably going, this needs to be done. I'm a good guy. And Jews are at the trouble of Germany's ills. Yeah. They're the root cause of all this. Yeah. And now we know that's wrong. He was not right to, of course, do anything he did. It's terrible what happened. And of course, I don't endorse any of that.
What George is saying is just that basic old proverb that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Hitler didn't walk around like a Bond villain stroking a cat trying to take over the world. He tried to make his country better. He was Man of the Year. I think he was on Time magazine. Hitler was, you know, totally adored by Germany. He was making the world better. He was changing and making strides. He convinced a population that the Jewish people were to blame for all of the terrible things in their society. He was misinformed. That's what George is saying. He was a misinformed person who went off the scale and did stuff for the greater good. He wasn't someone that was inherently walking around cackling about what he was doing like a baddie we'd see on the TV. This is the most dangerous thing to consider, because if we think that that's just a villain and we can spot a villain and they look like Hitler screaming and twitching on his drugs on his podium, that's not what it is. It's people that start out genuinely trying to make the world a better place. That's what's so terrifying about it. So George gets in trouble a second time, and again we don't see it because it's too bad to show on TV, and he explains in an interview exactly what he did.
I said, as somebody who's got red hair, blue eyes and white skin, I've been told that I'm the rarest breed of human. I think it's something like 0.001% of humans have that makeup.
Right.
Because their recessive genes is very rare, apart from Northern Europe and then people with Northern European ancestry in the likes of Australia or the States, etc. You won't find people like me in Africa or Asia, not indigenously anyway. So I said, I feel a bit of an obligation to procreate with a woman who can keep hold of these genes. Therefore, if I have a kid with a brown woman or a black woman, for example, that kid that we have will have brown skin, brown hair, brown eyes, and this will be lost. So I said, if I have a baby with a woman of that makeup, I feel like I'm betraying my kind a bit.
I don't think that there's anything even remotely racist about that. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if you consider it like this, because I've always said everyone's on about reparations over the years, and I think to myself, well, what I actually said years ago about this, well, what about the ginger people? Because the ginger people, I've heard, now I've not gone on a deep dive on this, but I heard that the Neolithic people, the Stone Age people, were the ginger people, and that they mated with the Homo sapiens that came across from Africa and across Europe and took over the world, and killed off all the Stone Age people and or mated with them. Now, I believe that that's why the gingers and there's certain genes that you can go up mountains and have a really good high altitude. That's the Neolithic blood. I don't know 100%. I think I've watched a documentary on something about it. But I've always thought, well, there's the ultimate reparations then. Well, the gingers are, you know, their own double reparations then, because the Neolithics, well, they've been completely wiped out. There's just traces of the bloodline left now. And I've said that in a mocking, silly way when we're having silly debates with people online, and you know, but like, it's a really bizarre thing because I mean, it's true. The guy in the interview mentions about the fact that Jewish people tend to want to stay within their own culture because there's not that many Jews. That's what I always assumed. I don't know, but like, I really don't know much about things like that. I've not. So from my perspective of someone that's watched Hollywood, Jewish mothers want a nice Jewish girl for their son or a Jewish boy for their daughter. It's one of those things that I remember in Sex and the City, Charlotte is not accepted into the world of the Jews very easily because it's a very closed society. They're very tough to get into, and you know, this is something that's totally understandable. It's not something that you're going to say, oh, that they're a bunch of racists. It's perfectly acceptable to want to breed with whoever you want to breed with for whatever reasons you want to breed with. That's a personal preference. There's nothing racist about what he said. George, we finally get to see how much of a wanker George actually is, and I think it kind of says it all, because we all have this new world where you're not allowed to say or do certain things. Back in the 90s, there was a certain wrist movement. And instantly, I think of as Chandler and Joey try to teach him how to smoke. Not too much, you know. And this is what they've tried to pass off as that.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I think you should definitely have a conversation, because I think maybe he's not really realising what that meant to you.
Last night, in a game of truth or dare, George had to tell each housemate their worst quality.
Sam, two.
Oh my God! Just say toucan. It's better.
No, I can't say that.
No, you don't mind camp, do you? No, I love being camp.
It's too, yeah, like that would chip away at me.
I'm thinking, what can I say about that? I mean, this is the thing that's difficult. It feels like logic is going out the fucking window. I mean, the word literally doesn't mean literally anymore. It means not literally. So I can't even use the word anymore. And it's like, people are like, oh, it's all right, you can still use the word. I'm like, no, because it's like there's a line in the world and it's like logic. We've got to understand where logic is. I was on a bus the other day with a guy and we're talking about fascism and what fascism meant for a minute because we got confused in conversation. I was like, but it's now meaning something different. It's now meaning authoritarian because it's being thrown around. Like that's what happens with words. A word gets used and that use comes in. So people go, I am literally on fire at the moment. I'm literally slapping at the moment. They're saying that shit and it becomes, well, that's a new word for that. That's the new meaning for that word. So literally doesn't mean literally anymore. So now it's like a sludge pot for logic. And so, yeah, this feels sort of similar. Like, you know, they're putting stamps of racism and anti-Semitism on stuff that isn't. And it's really difficult to understand. It's really difficult to accept. And I think it's on purpose because it's true. If you put a logical shit in front of a logical mind, the logical mind will try to bend its way around that and make sense of it. And it's just not making fucking sense. It doesn't make sense. It pisses me off. It just pisses me off. I think I might keep that in because I don't know, it's the sentiments of it. I mean, I'm trying to write something, I'm trying to like sort of put some bullet points up about this, and at the same time I kind of want to make it personal. It is fucking personal. It's my country. Someone the other day in England got dragged away for calling a policeman a muppet. It's absolutely insane. So what is offensive is ridiculous. I even saw two police officers stood there, and one of them with I swear he's got a fucking stick. I remember it. Someone stood with a stick with the smuggest face I've ever seen. And it just says, it is an offence to cause offence. That is the message. They removed the advert campaign after complaints, but that is still the fucking message that's going on here. And it's been the message that's been knocking on the doors of people at 9 o'clock at night and asking them to come down to the station because not asking them, arresting them and taking them down to the station because they've said something online or they've tweeted something. It's absolutely bizarre. There's a clip when they pulled George out that I wanted to mention as well because it kind of shows the darker edge of it. The way the group reacted, there's no reacting to the injustice. There's supposed to be a reaction to injustice. There's supposed to be someone that stands up and says, that's not fair, you know? And that's not what happened in this scene here. I mean, you can see there's a darkness in the fact they've pulled him out of bed in the middle of the night, and it made me think of
Hello, George.
It's better be good. In a deep sleep, then.
George, before you entered the Big Brother house, the rules regarding unacceptable and offensive language and behaviour were explained to you.
Yeah. What was it?
Big Brother has warned you on several separate occasions about your language, including issuing you with a formal warning.
Yeah.
Despite this, at 6:22 p.m. yesterday, in a conversation about conspiracy theories, the words you used broke the rules regarding unacceptable and offensive language on multiple occasions. George, Big Brother thinks that your repeated use of offensive language in the house, including during yesterday's conversation, is unacceptable. Big Brother cannot permit you to use language in a manner which is likely to be considered offensive by housemates or the viewing public.
Understood.
Despite the prior warnings and the opportunities we have given you to adjust your language in the house, you have persisted in using offensive language, and as a result, Big Brother has no choice other than to remove you from the house.
Oh, shit.
Say what you want about George, but he wasn't a bad person.
Yeah.
He was just...
As a person, he wasn't, and that's what I've been saying the whole time, and he's not a bad person at all.
Oh, God love him. Not that it's not fair. He shouldn't have been such a wanker, but still.
God, I feel quite sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give him some boxes.
Should we do... actually, I'm not sure if this will fit with the...
Take the hangers out.
I'm really shocked by that, if I'm honest.
I'm really shocked.
Actually hasn't sunk in yet.
Simple fact is that that TV show's finally turned into The Real Big Brother, and the voice has changed. The voice has really changed. It was completely different. It was fun and friendly, and the speaker, when he speaks to George, I don't know, there's a clenched teethedness, there's a nastiness there, there's a real Big Brother vibe. It is Big Brother for real. They really turned into the 1984 version of Big Brother. I think it was dark that they removed George in the way that they did, and I've put the clip here. I think what I took from that was really quite dark. I think that to take someone out of a situation when they're in the middle of a deep sleep like that, it takes pretty nasty minds to come up with something like that. I mean, there's no reason you would need to pull someone out from their bed other than to make an example of them, and to make drama out of this scene. I just think it's something really, I don't know, there's something really dark about how they pulled him out. There's a part in the Gulag Archipelago that mentions about when they arrested people in the night and they're confused, and you know, they're in their pajamas and they've got all this shit coming at them through the door, and it really reminded me of that. Obviously a lot lighter version, but there's echoes of stuff that I see in that freak me out quite a lot. The fact that the group as well react a certain way, it kind of shows that the society didn't stand up for George. He didn't say anything. They actually condemned him to be a wanker there, and I think that's really sad. I mean, his friends are sad, but there's no one standing up for the injustice. No one saying that's not fucking fair. He's getting done for something he's not done. You know, he's getting kicked out over something that's not right. In fact, he's been kicked out over stuff that it doesn't even make logical sense. And that's what's happening in England. This Big Brother scene is basically what my world is in miniature, and it's really difficult and it's really sad to take. I'm going to do different videos on it because I've fucking cracked, really. I've had enough. And I've been umming and iffing and thinking, what am I going to do? What can I do? And I maybe just fucking talk about it, even though I'm swearing and it's not perfect. And I don't know. I've got to do something. So sort of get a boost of confidence, put it out there. No, don't do that. But I think that I want to do a few videos on different things, because I've got things that have been buzzing in my head that I've been waiting for people to talk about, and they're not talking about them. And so I think that if you've got something to say, if something's not being said and you can see an injustice, then, you know, you should speak up. And I think that there's been injustice in the Big Brother house, illegal injustice as well. I think I think it's Channel 3 that own it now. I'll have a little look. Basically, I think that they fucked up massively legally, and I think that it just shows that it proves what's going on in my society. Beyond a doubt, it proves what's going on in my society. That the newspapers, I think I did see, the little bit of news I saw was that there was outrage at what Caroline said at her comments. Outrage at her comments. No one outraged at the fact that she's being treated with legal injustice. Not only that, shamed and made to feel terrible. I think anyone that's bullied, that's been bullied, that watches that clip of her, you know, can probably imagine what it's like to have a group turn on you like that. And it's a fucked up way to have your society. So, got to speak up. People in England have got to do stuff, say stuff, take some action, and so it's my attempt at a bit of action. Thank you for watching, and I will put up another video soon, and I will try and do my best to edit this into something that is watchable. And thank you for watching if you've made it to the end there.